Hey VC, what's up? Once again, I have with me my good friends Aaron Mutha Alamere and Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed. We're here to talk in this video about our top 10 Led Zeppelin songs. It's hard to believe we've been doing this for the better part of 8 or 9 months and are just now getting around to Led Zeppelin, but it's a long time coming. And I think we're all pretty excited about this one. I know for me personally, Led Zeppelin was kind of the gateway to other forms of hard rock. Up till that point, I was kind of into the Beatles, Van Halen a little bit. But in terms of like heavy hard rock, Led Zeppelin was, I think, the first heavy band that I really got into in my early days of college, where everybody seemed like was listening to Led Zeppelin. But when did you guys first start actually kind of getting heavy into Led Zeppelin?
I was probably early teenager, like 13, 14. I remember hearing Zeppelin 4 for the first time. And I don't know, there was something just magical about them and sort of mysterious. And I think it even got down to when you look at the artwork on Zeppelin 4, with this strange guy on the cover carrying a bundle of sticks. And then, you have the symbols inside. And, as a kid, I was like, ooh, I wonder what these symbols mean. And it's so cool that each member has his own symbol. And I don't know, it almost went beyond the music for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a cool, mysterious thing that they had going. Plus, they sounded kick-ass.
For sure. How about you, Aaron?
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, I like Led Zeppelin. I've always liked them. I heard them a ton when I was in high school because I had friends that would play Led Zeppelin 4, Led Zeppelin 2, those two especially, over and over. Heard them a lot. But for some reason, they never have connected with me like a lot of other bands. But I do like them. And my gateway to the hard rock was more Deep Purple, Black Sabbath than Zeppelin, even though I appreciate Zeppelin. And I do I have a bunch of songs I really like by them. And their albums as a whole are all really good. They're just for a reason. So maybe by the time I hit 52, it'll hit me. And,
Yeah.
And then I'll just become a Zeppelin fanatic. But for the first 50 years of my life, I've liked them a lot. But they just have never really connected with me for some reason, as much as other bands. So, but well, I do.
Yeah, they're a rare band, kind of, and I think they're like the Beatles a bit in that, they were only around for, about 10 years. They never went through any lineup changes. They pretty much stayed the way they were. Hugely popular in the 70s. I don't think there was another band that, and at least another heavy band that was selling as many albums as Led Zeppelin were. Definitely had their own unique personalities. I think there was a lot to like about Led Zeppelin. There were elements of heavy, elements of acoustic, some lighter stuff, some prog rock incorporations that they put into their records and that. But we're going to go through our top 10 list. We're going to start with our numbers 10 through 6. And then go one by one after that. So, Aaron, you want to start us off with your bottom 5?
All right. My number 10 from Physical Graffiti, it's Cashmere. I've always just liked that song a lot. And it's kind of a precursor to Still the Night in a way, with the bow playing on the guitar, which is really cool. And I always like that sound. It's just a kick-ass, heavy song. Love that song. It's one of my favorites from that album. And for number 9, and this is maybe the best one when you hear it on a really good stereo, it's just going all around this weird stuff. It's Whole Lot of Love from Zeppelin 2. And I just love the stereo effect they put into that song. It's really cool sounding. And you get a really killer, clean copy of it. There's nothing that sounds quite like that. It's just really amazing. And just always loved Whole Lot of Love. And then for number 8, one from Zeppelin 4. And Zeppelin 4, I've always thought wasn't my favorite Zeppelin record, but going back, I think I have more songs from Zeppelin 4 than any other album on my list. But it's When the Levee Breaks. Love When the Levee Breaks. It's just dark, plotting, everyone knows that song. I love the lyrics and just how it just has got that atmosphere to it. And I think it's a really killer song. For number 7, oh, wrong album. One of the greatest screams, or not screams, intro voices in any songs, the Immigrant Song from Zeppelin 3. I know a couple metal bands have redone it, and I just have always loved the vocals and the heaviness of that song. And that's really cool because this album is kind of a mellower album except for that song. And that one's always struck me. I've always loved it. And then I'm going back to Zeppelin 4 for my number 6 with 4 Sticks. Love that song. Just love it. Love the drumming. Of course, he's playing with 2 drumsticks in each hand. Very unique. Monster of a drummer, of course, John Bonham. Amazing song. So there we go. Kashmir, Whole Lot of Love, When the Levee Breaks, Immigrant Song, and 4 Sticks.
Cool. Great choices. Four Sticks has always been one of my favorite songs on Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well, there's some alternate takes of that track where they have like some Indian musicians. I mean, there's a little bit of that Eastern flavor to the track anyway, but there's actually like an alternate outtake that has like an actual Indian musician ensemble where it's much more like pronounced. There's like a tabla beat, it's just a real, you can tell the Indian flavor is definitely at the forefront of that track. But yeah, I think it's great. I love that. And that's one of the things I love about Led Zeppelin is they're not afraid to get into some world music and try some different rhythms and different sound textures. And, even on an album that's one of their heaviest, the fact that they have a track like 4 Sticks on there that fits in so well, I think is one of the reasons why Led Zeppelin's so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well, my number 10, I had to represent this album In Through the Outdoor. I think it's underrated. It's I really dig this record, and I'm gonna go with the first song, In the Evening. It's a mid-paced rockin' tune. I dig the keyboards in this song, and it's sort of like a precursor to what Robert Plant would do solo, and I'm glad that Zeppelin stopped after this record because I don't know if they would have gone down a good road in the 80s. But this is still a strong record. I know it's not their best, but I had to represent this album. So I'm going In the Evening for number 10. Just picked this up on vinyl tonight because I wanted to show it. Physical Graffiti, I'm going with the song Night Flight. And just a killer track. It's got this bright quality to it. There's not another song on this record that sounds like Night Flight. I love, I'm trying to read my notes here. I love Plant's vocals on here. There's a Hammond B3 organ as well, which sounds really cool. And then there's this midsection that's really bluesy. I don't know. I like the changes in the song. Night Flight. And Aaron picked Immigrant Song off of 3. I'm going with the song Friends. And it's this is a funny album because, as Aaron was saying, it's a pretty mellow record. There's a lot of folky acoustic numbers on here. And Friends is sort of like a kind of a mixture of the rock and the acoustic vibe. I love there's this great little guitar lick that Jimmy Page does, and then there's this ascending riff that happens as well. It's a cool, unique song. And like I said, it's a nice blend of the mellow acoustic and then what you would get on like the Immigrant Song or Out on the Tiles or something like that. So Friends. Number 7, I gotta go with this tune. It was the first Zeppelin song I ever heard. It was the first Zeppelin song that I fell in love with. Black Dog off of Zeppelin 4. It's sort of the blueprint of hard rock and heavy metal. I mean, Aaron, I keep saying Aaron mentioned, but Aaron had a lot of good points. Aaron had mentioned In the Still of the Night. I can kind of hear Black Dog sort of influencing Still of the Night as well. yeah, like I said, it's just a blueprint for hard rock. It's when I think Zeppelin, I think Black Dog, and I know that you hear it on the radio all the time, but I don't listen to the radio, so every time I hear Black Dog, it still sounds fresh to me.
Well, and Black Dog is one of those songs. It feels like it's going to fall apart because it's such a complex rhythm.
Yeah,
When it starts getting into that chorus or whatever, I'm not even sure you'd call it a chorus, but just the whole rhythm, you feel like, oh, it's going to totally fall apart. But it works somehow. They
yeah.
get together and it's a magical song. I love that one.
And I was going to mention that you're right. There's some sort of like a push and pull between like the drumming and the guitar. And it's like, you're right. It doesn't sound like it should work. And then it all kind of comes together. So I would have loved to have been in the studio or when they were writing that song to see how they came up with that rhythm. It's such a unique rhythm. It's sort of off the beat and it's almost like multi rhythm. There's like multi rhythms in there. I don't know what the term is, but it's interesting. And I'm giving my number 6, right?
Yep.
All right, number 6. I'm going with the Rain song off of Houses of the Holy. Always been a favorite of mine. It's such a beautiful song, and the guitar chords and just the mellow guitar tone and notes that Jimmy Page is doing in that song, it's just phenomenal. And you really picture like sitting under like a canopy of trees and the rain just coming down, and it's just, I don't know, it's always been one of my favorite songs. So number 10, In the Evening. Number 9, Night Flight. Number 8, Friends. Number 7, Black Dog. And number 6, The Rain song.
The thing, the Rain song that I really like, I'm a big Smiths fan, and I've always wondered if How Soon Is Now, that the guitar riff was influenced by the Rain song that, that's kind of running through How Soon Is Now is sort of the same guitar riff that you hear on the Rain song. And I was always a Smiths fan before I was a Led Zeppelin fan, so that kind of always made me wonder, but.
And since you mentioned guitar riffs, there's a lot of guitar riffs in this record that sort of have a country vibe to them. And I don't know, I know that Jimmy Page was definitely influenced by the blues, but you wonder what he thought of country music, because I hear even in the Rain song, there's some country influences in there as well, just with how he's playing the licks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
But I guess blues and country are very similar. So.
Yeah, well, just even the song Bro, I don't know how you pronounce it, Bro Yar Stomp from Led Zeppelin 3. I mean, that's kind of like a country jamboree track right there, kind of a country stomp. A lot of fun. So, and Hot Dog. Was another genre that Led Zeppelin did pretty successfully. All right, my number 10. I'm gonna go with the track off of their debut. I'm going with Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, which is the Joan Baez cover. And the story goes that Robert Plant went over to Jimmy Page's house and brought a stack of records, and they were surprised how many records and how much commonality there was in their musical taste. And that Joan Baez track was one that they both really connected to. And I think it's a perfect example of Led and Zeppelin. You've got the heavy, the Led, and then the Zeppelin, the light. Starts off very acoustic, very quiet. You're thinking, oh, this is going to be a quiet ballad. And then in the choruses, it just kicks up. And every subsequent chorus, it gets a bit louder, a little more intense. And then you've got kind of those quiet moments. And I love kind of that extended, where it feels like it's like going off into space. I don't know if you know the part I'm talking about, but it's just sort of like, whoa, it's so trippy. But I love that track. There's so many cool elements to it. And the song, you listen to it again and again, you discover new things about it that you hadn't heard before. So I love that one.
And what's up with bands covering Joan Baez tunes in the 70s? Because Priest covered Diamonds and Rust. So I don't know. Joan Baez was an influence on heavy metal, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it went both ways. I mean, Joan Baez covered a bunch of artists, and then there were a bunch of artists, that covered Joan Baez. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think, when it's a good song, it's a good song. And I think it's great to have. I've never heard Joan Baez's version of it.
no.
You think I would have sought it out, but I just never have. But I can't imagine it being anything close to what Led Zeppelin did. I kind of imagine it to be sort of like what when you first hear the song, think it's going to be, where it's just going to be kind of a straight up acoustic, kind of a ballad without those heavy, choruses or whatever in the middle. But yeah, it's interesting to wonder about that. Chris and I were talking beforehand. This is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin album, Houses of the Holy. I'm going with Dancing Days, which kicks off side B. Just kind of love it. It's got a great riff. I love that. I love that, like, kind of thing. It's so cool. It's like a jet taking off or a car taking off or something. It's just so cool. It's so Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page has so many riffs that nobody had ever come up with before. And he was such a gifted musician that his riffs, I mean, he could get away with so much and he could make them sound so cool. I think it wasn't until Eddie Van Halen came along where you had something that was even remotely comparable in terms of riffs. But love Dancing Days. They tell the story about they went out on the lawn after they recorded it to listen to the playback, and they were like dancing out on the lawn, just so happy, so elated at how the song turned out. It's a fun song. And I think it's a little too close to the track Houses of the Holy, which would have been the title track off here. And I think that's why they left it off and put it on Physical Graffiti, because there was a little too much similarity between Dancing Days and Houses of the Holy. And so they kept it off and put it on the next album. But yeah, one of the reasons why I love this, because it's such a catchy riff. It's got a great lyrics, great beat to it, and just a lot of fun. Even John Paul Jones's keyboard work on there, that whole thing. It's like so cool. I love that in the kind of closing verses there. Number 8, I am going to go to Led Zeppelin 3. I'm going to go with Tangerine off of side 2. Really
almost made my list.
Yeah, I love it. It's just really unlike anything else Led Zeppelin had recorded before or since. It's just kind of got a unique flavor. And the whole, Led Zeppelin 3 is, it's definitely a lighter, more acoustic kind of an album. I mean, it's got its heavier moments. Out on the Tiles and Immigrant Song are definitely heavy, but they're definitely exploring new territory with some of their songs. I mean, Gallows Pole, which was a Lead Belly cover. You got That's the Way, which is sort of a quieter, you got some slide guitar on there. It almost sounds like it could have been an Elton John song off of Tumbleweed Connection or something like that. But anyway, Tangerine, love that track. Number 7, my number 7, I'm going to Led Zeppelin 4 or Misty Mountain Hop. Just love that keyboard riff. It's a fun little track. And John Paul Jones, I mean, everybody, just because he was overshadowed by how great a musician Jimmy Page was, but John Paul Jones made such a contribution to Led Zeppelin, whether it was the synthesizers on In Through the Outdoor, or just his funky keyboard work on Trampled Underfoot, or there's a little bit of that on Misty Mountain Hop, kind of that cool little keyboard riff that he's got there. And I just love when John Bonham comes in on the drum and establishes the rhythm at the beginning of that song. And I think Robert Plant sings it great. It's got a great beat to it. You can dance to it. It's just a great track. Going back to this album for Song Remains the Same. Always love that. Love the whole, like, how the hell is he playing just one guy is playing all those guitars at the beginning. It's like a guitar onslaught. There's so many different riffs, so many different ways that he plays the guitar. It's just a great track before it even kicks in. I mean, it could have been an instrumental, and then it kind of slows down. Then you get Robert Plant singing the verses, and then it kind of picks up and builds again. Push, the whole Robert Plant thing, which he does so great. And it's such a great way to kick off the album, and then it segues right into the Rain song so beautifully. So love that one. But that's my bottom 5. Number 10, Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You. Number 9, Dancing Days. Number 8, Tangerine. Number 7, Misty Mountain Hop. And number 6, Song Remains the Same. All right, Aaron, you're number 5.
Number 5, this is from House of the Holy, and it's No Quarter. Love No Quarter. And excuse me, listening back, I realized something about that song. I've always liked it a lot, and I thought it was really cool, but I hear a lot of grunge influence in it, where it was kind of a precursor to grunge in a way that has a lot of similarities to like Pearl Jam. Their guitar style is copied a lot from it. I noticed it just really struck me that it almost sounds like a Pearl Jam-ish type grunge song, like not really heavier grunge, but that kind of style there. The guitar work in it is just really good, and I love the lyrics. And it's a really long song, and just really moody at the beginning, and I just love No Quarter. I think it's a great song. It's my favorite from there.
That was a soundtrack to me, schlepping around the bowling alley arcades back in the day. You know, it's like, man, I want to play these games, but I got no quarter, man.
No Quarter.
And I realized it was totally something different, you know, when I actually, paid attention to the lyrics. But
And now you need 75 cents to play a game.
Yeah, I know. Geez, you had to play Dragon's Lair back in the day if you wanted to spend more than 25 cents. But anyway, great song. Love that one. That might appear on my list. Not to spoil anything, but
It might appear on my list as well.
I guess I picked a good one then.
So we're going one by one now.
Yep.
All right. So my number 5 is off of Presence, and it's Achilles' Last Stand. Such a great song, over 10 minutes long. This is Zeppelin doing prog. It's very proggy. It's heavy. It's epic. I believe that Robert Plant, well, he was in a car crash around this time. And I want to say that he recorded some of this when he was in a wheelchair, I heard, or is that just like a rumor? But he was definitely.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he was definitely in a car crash. So to think of his vocals being as strong as they are after being in something traumatic like that, it's pretty amazing. But Achilles' Last Stand has always been a favorite of mine, and I think that that's why this album tends to not be one of my favorites, because I think after Achilles' Last Stand, it's like, where do you go from there? I mean, they sort of covered all the ground that you can in that song. And then everything else sort of seems, I don't know, like it starts to all sound the same to me, except for the song T for One, which I believe is the last tune. But yeah, I mean, Achilles' Last Stand, I almost feel like maybe it should have been the last song and like build up to it, because there's so much going on in it. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, well, that's a great one. And everybody, kind of, well, not everybody, but I think there's no mistaking that Hart co-opted the rhythm and the beat from that song for Barracuda, that same kind of plotting, kind of thing that Achilles' Last Stand does. But yeah, I mean, you're so kind of exhausted after that song. For Your Life, it's kind of, like you say, a letdown. Like, what is possibly going to top that? But
yeah, I just feel like, I mean, there's For Your Life and then Royal Orleans that sound very similar. I won't go over the songs because maybe some of you guys might have picked one, but I don't know. I just feel like Achilles' Last Stand is the standout for that album.
All right, my number 5, I am going to the Physical Graffiti album, which I do like a lot. And the song I'm going to go with, just from the first time I heard it, and it's another long, Led Zeppelin song. It's the longest track on this album. I think it's even longer than Kashmir, but I'm going with In My Time of Dying. I just got done saying what an exhausting experience it is listening to Achilles' Last Stand. But In My Time of Dying is everything I love about Led Zeppelin. It starts out kind of very quiet. You've got some slide guitar, the bluesy slide guitar from Jimmy Page. You got John Bonham beating the hell out of the drums. I just love is that well. And and then it's like, all right, here we go. And then you got John Bonham beating the hell out of the drums, and then they start kicking it up a notch. And it's just, I saw when that Led Zeppelin DVD set came out, there's a live version on there of In My Time of Dying. And I always imagine just hearing the song, like John Bonham wailing away on everything. But it looks like he makes it look so simple. It's like, just tapping away, looking like if you had the sound down, you'd be like, oh, well, he must not be playing anything very heavy. But it's just because what a great drummer he is. But I love that, just everything about it. And I don't know, I could go on gushing about it for a long time, but In My Time of Dying has always been one of those songs that kind of makes the hair stand up on my arms when it starts kicking in, especially at the end. That whole thing is like, holy crap. Everybody, and then Jimmy Page just going bonkers on the slide guitar at the end there. That whole part, it's like, holy cow. And then it slows it back down, and then you got kind of Robert Plant at the end saying something. I don't know what he's saying, like, what's up, Jesus, or oh my Jesus, the whole Jesus part of it. And then it's like, we're not done yet. Let's give it another round. And then they go back into it. And then at the end, there's just kind of a cough, and it just ends on that. Yeah. Just great. Love it. And then right into Houses of the Holy. Perfection. So that's my number 5. Number 4, Aaron.
I'm looking. Okay, here we go. My number 4, and you've talked about this already. And it was actually my first favorite Led Zeppelin song. When I was first in high school and I listened, my friends were playing them all the time. It's Misty Mountain Hop. Love that song. And just what you were saying about it, and I love the Lord of the Rings lyrics that are in it are cool. And I just always love the groove of that song. And you're right about John Paul Jones. He's an amazing musician. I actually saw him on a live thing with them Crooked Vultures with Josh Homme and him and Dave Grohl. And he was playing all these different instruments while they were doing all their songs live. And I was like, oh, wow, that's where Led Zeppelin gets all that from. It's all those different textures that he puts in. And Misty Mountain Hop was my first favorite, like I said, of them. And I still love that song. Whenever it comes on the radio, I crank it up. When I listen to the radio, which is rarely. But it's my favorite on Zeppelin 4. Love that song.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing this album a lot tonight. I'm going with the song Going to California. Just have always loved that song. Again, another acoustic song. I think I'm into these acoustic tunes by Zeppelin. Always been a favorite of mine. I love the lyrics. Someone told me there's a girl out there with love in her eyes and flowers in her hair. I just like how Robert Plant sings that. It's just a great song. And yeah, I don't know. Did they ever play that song on the radio? I don't think so.
Too often.
Yeah,
a little bit on classic radio here. I heard it, but
it's always loved that song.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Behind Blue Eyes, a little bit. The Who, if you were comparing that album, because Who's Next came out that same year. And it's another album that's got great bookended tracks, Black Dog and When the Levee Breaks, but Going to California right before, the kind of heavy last track on Led Zeppelin 4. It's just great. And, that's what Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You could have been, could have been acoustic all the way through, but it just works so well. And Jimmy Page is such a gifted guitarist. He could have been a folk guitarist. He could have been in Greenwich Village, hanging out with the folkies back in the day and fit right in. But, it just shows all of Jimmy Page's influence, all his American influences, and just a great, great track. Love that one.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah. All right, Chris, well, you had said, well, where is there to go after Achilles' Last Stand on Present? Well, it's going to be my number 4 track, which is off of Presence. I am going with Nobody's Fault But Mine, the lead-off track on side B. If
Nobody's fault but mine.
Yeah, if you guys ever want me to do a live stream where I sing some Led Zeppelin lyrics a cappella, I'd be happy to do that. But yeah, it's definitely as heavy as Achilles' Last Stand. I think it works great. It's kind of somebody who's trying to shake a monkey off their back. Somebody who's kind of coming to terms with the bad decisions they've made. Maybe some of their addictions. But yeah, I think it's great. I think John Bonham, great drumming on the track. And there's a harmonica solo, which you don't hear a whole lot on Led Zeppelin tracks, where you got, I assume it's Robert Plant wailing away on the harmonica
Right.
at the end of that track, which is pretty cool. But in my time of Nobody's Fault But Mine, number 4.
Song.
Great tune.
And by the way, Presence is this is my least favorite Led Zeppelin album cover. Like, I get the idea that Hypnosis was going for, but sometimes, as great a covers as Hypnosis has produced over the years, they've also produced some pretty shitty covers also. And I would submit this is probably one of my least favorite Hypnosis covers. Just doesn't do anything for me. As an aside to it, just not a fan of that.
For some reason, it always remind me of Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd, that cover.
Yeah, a lot, which they had done a few years before. I think just a year before, actually, because Presence came out in 76 and Wish You Were Here was 75. So, but I like the Wish You Were Here album cover a lot better than I like Presence.
It's got fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Give up to number 3, right?
Yeah.
So now this is going to be a big surprise probably, but it's from Led Zeppelin 2, Moby Dick. I just love that song, the drumming, I love the drums. So it's always one of my favorite songs, even though it's, it's what it is. Just, I love Moby Dick. I think it's a great, 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 great song.
Well, you're a drummer, Aaron, so I get that.
Well, sort of.
You're just being modest, but
yeah, I've just always loved the drumming on it. Of course, it's anything with drums like that. Drumming. I almost put Bonzo's Montreux on my list, but I couldn't really put 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. So, it's normally I probably skip over a track like that, but I don't know what works. It's got a great guitar riff and then right into John Bonham. And is there a better drummer than John Bonham? We could argue that one probably, but I think it's cool that he had a showcase.
Yeah, I really love that they did. I actually like it when bands do that. Like Kiss did with Car Jam, and a couple of theirs. And there's been a few others over the years, but
yeah. Solid. Yeah.
Well, you're going to be seeing a lot of this record in my top 3. This is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin record. And I'm going to do a song here that, I don't know, could be a little controversial. I'm going with The Crunch for number 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's basically James Brown meets Led Zeppelin. I love this freaking song. And I just love the end when they're like, I'm just trying to find the bridge. Has anybody seen the bridge? Where's that confounded bridge? there is no other song that Zeppelin does that sounds like the Crunge. And I've always dug that tune. And like I said, it's almost like James Brown meets Zeppelin.
It's funky.
Yeah. And there's the reference to, I think that's a reference to James Brown, the bridge.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just a great tune.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, I know there's people that, take a shit on that song, but I don't care. I think it's funky. I love it. I think it's just people, it's not what they expect Led Zeppelin to be. It's like, okay, well, they can be folky, they can be proggy, they can be rocking, but I'm not sure I like them funky. Yeah, I think they do it convincingly. They don't do it like a crap job on that track. I'm gonna go on record as saying I like the Crunge, and I'm with you there, Chris. I think it's a cool track.
It's number 3 for me, number 3. So anybody out there, I want to know what you think of that. I'm probably going to get shit on for that, but I don't care.
I appreciate it, but I'll have to say it's not one of my favorites they do. But I do appreciate them doing something different. And I wonder if that's where Metallica was saying the table instead of the bridge type thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's where they got that from, the Lulu.
I am the bridge.
But yeah,
Where's that confounded table?
I appreciate it, but
Yeah. All right.
The Crunge.
All right, my number 3. I'm going back to the debut album for Dazed and Confused. I remember just being so mesmerized by that bass riff there. Doom, 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 doom. And it's very slow in that, kind of guitar in there. That's sort of like, oh, it's haunting. Also, ooh, and then an awesome Robert Plant vocal. And then again, it starts off kind of slow, moody, and then, goes off into hyperspace. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the 30-minute version on The Song Remains the Same soundtrack. I think that's a little self-indulgent. Not a little, it's a lot of self-indulgent, but the track for me, I'm still in love with the version that's on the debut album. And I love the guitar effects on it. And even at the end, that whole thing. I mean, you guys all know what I'm talking about. And out of context, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
All right.
We should just have a video of Jeff singing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, Chris, you do your live streams all the time. You're playing acoustically. Like, why can't I just do like my a cappella warbling? I'll pick a song and then.
Well, what you could do is you could do like guess that song. You know what I mean? And just sing 2 bars and then see if anybody knows what song you're singing.
Well, and people have always said, like, you're a one-person pentatonics, Jeff. You can.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because I'm so versatile. I can mimic a guitar, I can mimic a keyboard, I can mimic a mandolin. I mean, there's no, don't get me started. But
yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
My number 2 is from Physical Graffiti, Trampled Underfoot.
Nice.
Always one of my favorite songs of them. I think that's a really different song for them too. And I just love how interesting it is. Musically, it's just always been one of my favorites. And it sticks in my head more than almost all their other songs for some reason. I'll hear it, and it'll go through my head for like 4 days. Just that groove of it, and that's why I like it so much. But there we go. Trample Underfoot, number 2.
So I just have a question for you, Aaron. Do you change the windows? Do you change the windows in this?
No, I like to keep them how they are.
Okay.
It's like the Some Girls album by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Very simple.
Yeah.
I think I change the windows every once in a while.
Well, so there's this, like which window do you pick? But then there's also, if you've got a copy of the third Led Zeppelin album, you can be like, well, whose face do you like here more? Do you like John Paul? You're a John Paul Jones guy. Like I've got John Paul Jones here, but you could like Jimmy Page in your little bubble window here. That's what's kind of cool about it. You could actually, kind of play with your album cover a little bit and mix it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my number 2 has already been mentioned. Off of Houses of the Holy, I'm going with No Quarter. Yeah, number 2, No Quarter. Atmospheric, ethereal. I think in the movie, the song remains the same. I think like Robert Plant is riding around the English countryside on a horse, and there's like fog everywhere. I think that's what it was, but it just adds that atmosphere to the song. And I love the intro keyboard. I wish I was Jeff because I can't hum it, but
how's that? Good.
exactly. That's
My
exactly what
Mellotron. That's my Mellotron impression.
I heard it in my head, and that's exactly what I heard.
Yeah.
So No Quarter. Yeah. Number 2.
I'm like that guy in the police academy, the guy who could do like all the different sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's me. That
is you.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel a video coming on.
I'm telling you. Don't threaten me with a good video. Okay. All right. I am going with a track off of Houses of the Holy. It's a track called No Quarter. That one. And like you, it's like, God, what do I like better? Do I like this version or the one-off Song Remains the Same? Which is kind of there's a little more keyboard in the Song Remains the Same version, but either way, it's very proggy. I love the Mellotron, and I think that's what sells me on here. But it's just very moody. Robert Plant voice just sounds so, it's almost like a disembodied Robert Plant vocal, which I think is very cool. And it's the lightest track off of here. I mean, apart from the Rain song, but it's definitely, I think, the centerpiece of side 2 of this record. And yeah, I mean, I can't say anything more than Chris already said about it, but love it.
Great tune.
Yeah. All right, our number uno, Aaron, what's your number 1?
Already been talked about. It's an amazing song. Achilles' Last Stand, my favorite Zeppelin song. It's a masterpiece of a song, progressive. If you just put a little bit of heavier guitar in it, it would almost be a thrash song, like a speed metal song. I could see Megadeth doing it, something like that. And just love it. I love the epicness of it and just the intricacy, and it's a great song. And Misty Mountain Hop was my original, and then after that I went and it was Achilles' Last Stand. It's always been my favorite for about 20 years, so just love it. Amazing song.
Did Joan Baez write that?
Yes, along with Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, that's a great song. I love Achilles' Last Stand. It's one of the best songs of the 70s, I think.
That's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my number 5. So
cool.
Well, you guys are sick of probably seeing this record, but it's my favorite Led Zeppelin. And Jeff already talked about this song, but my number 1 song is The Song Remains the Same. I have no idea what the lyrics are talking about. He's like, sing out, Harry, Harry, ooh, dance the hoochie coo. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But the music is awesome. I love the song structure. I can't even read my notes here, so I'm just off the top of my head here. It opens up the record. I love how it goes right into the Rain song. I feel like I'm saying the same stuff Jeff said. But blistering solos by Jimmy Page. Just a great song. It sort of highlights the whole band. My number 1.
Good choice.
And there's a jangly guitar part in there because I was, just like I was talking about how I wondered if the Smiths were influenced by the Rain song. There's kind of a jangly guitar part in there, which I really love. And I was a fan of REM before I got into Led Zeppelin, and that kind of reminded me a bit of, some of REM's jangle pop or whatever it was. But anyway, I just forgot to mention that when I was talking about the song. But my number one got me my first copyright strike because I was in a record store, minding my own business, trying to film a goddamn YouTube video. And the owner of the store wants to put this record on and play it for somebody, trying to sell them the record. Like, hey, listen to how awesome this sounds. And he like cranks it up while I'm trying to crate dig. I'm like, come on here. It did sound cool though. But nonetheless, I am going with Whole Lot of Love.
Nice.
Up the Led Zeppelin 2 album. I mean, I don't know, what can you say about that track, but it's just so cool. Right from the get-go. I mean, it's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. You need cooling, baby. I'm not cooling. I'm gonna send you back to schooling.
Great.
Way down inside. Yeah.
You need one give my love. And then
Get you my love.
yeah, and then the whole middle part, which White Snake co-opted. But yeah, it's great, and then just I love the whole middle section where there's all like that word all that weird shit like going on in the middle. Like, what the hell? Like, what other song that did shit like that in the middle of it is getting played on the radio? Like, none, unless you can totally bring the goods for the rest of the song, and then and then John Bonham, and then they like kick right back into it, and it's like, damn. But it's just such a satisfying song to listen to. I can listen to it over and over, and it still is impactful. Just the depth and the whole, the real deep bottom to Jimmy Page's guitar. But yeah, I mean, it's great. Love that track, and that will always be my favorite Led Zeppelin song. So I know it's overplayed and yeah, whatever, but hey, none of us had Stairway to Heaven. What's up with that?
I was just gonna say that. And I love that song too. It's just I like a few others better. It's a great song.
Yeah, I love Stairway to Heaven too.
Yeah, it's just a bit overplayed. I mean, it's cliche, but yeah, I mean, I've heard it a million times, and but.
And I was I'm not, well, I am kind of proud of this. I was the only one who picked a song off of In Through the Outdoor.
And I love In Through the Outdoor. It's just, I mean, if I had to pick a song off there, I would have picked probably like In the Evening, All My Love, I think is great. I love I'm Gonna Crawl. Yeah, I'm Gonna Crawl is a great track. I love that on there. Fool in the Rain is a, cool little track. You got that kind of, I don't know, calypso or whatever the hell that is, like in the middle bit of it, which I think is very cool. But even Carousel Alhambra, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a long extended keyboard workout, but that has, its moments. So yeah, I don't dislike In Through the Outdoor, but there's just so many great tracks on all the albums that came before that I don't fit anything on. But what's your favorite Led Zeppelin album?
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe 2, 4, 2 or 4. It's about tied for me. And I like 1 a lot too. Even though none of the songs made it, I do love 1.
Okay.
Those are my 3. House of the Holy's creeping up. Chris is influencing me. It's creeping.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I like. One of his favorites I don't like as much. That's why I like the others a little better.
Yeah.
But I grew up on 4 and we had 2 on vinyl when I was a kid, so I heard that one first. So that's probably why I like it a lot.
Yeah. Mine's probably like Houses of the Holy with maybe Led Zeppelin 2 a close second, and then maybe Led Zeppelin 4. It's just so hard. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but there's not a bad Led Zeppelin album, which makes it very hard. Unlike some other bands that we've talked about, where you can say, well, it's very clearly a weaker album than the rest. I mean, there's a lot to love about each Led Zeppelin album. But yeah, just interested.
My number 2 would be 4.
And your number 4 would be 2.
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin album cover?
Good question. I'd probably say I was always mesmerized by 3 when I was a kid because you could turn the dial.
I think it's
Yeah, that's a pretty cool cover. But I don't know, Zeppelin 4 is a cool cover too.
I'm gonna go with this one. The first one. I love that image of the Led Zeppelin burning. I think it's very cool. Very striking, but yeah, I mean, with the exception of Presence, I could get behind all their album covers.
This had a paper bag, for gosh sakes,
Yeah, but what's interesting about that one is the different album covers that they have, different versions of that. Which is from a different character. There's like 3 or 4 different characters in that barroom scene, and each cover is from a different character's perspective, which was very cool. And they did that like brush stroke, across it, kind of like before the Police Synchronicity ever thought to do that.
Isn't there like 6 versions of that? And they're all, and on the spine, they'll say A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. That's how you can know which one it is.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I have A.
Let me see which one this is. Oh, wrong way.
Now I want to get them all.
Yeah, that'd be a cool thing to have.
Yeah, mine's too wore out to see it, I think. But yeah, it's on the spine, it'll tell you. I don't know which one it is. Is that the same one as you have?
Yeah, that's A. I think they made more of A.
Probably. I have another one that's still on the brown paper too. I think it's a different one. So
Is yours a remaster or is yours older?
this is an older one. That one's a remaster.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder if they did a remaster, if they use a different cover. Like, I don't know.
Let's see.
You never knew what cover you were going to get, I guess.
No, this is an old one.
I don't know what mine is.
I think this one says D.
Is it the same as yours?
No.
Yeah, yours is different. Mine is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Let me see. Mine's this.
See them here.
So Jeff, is that a remastered one?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, mine are both
Yeah,
the original.
Are you showing the front cover, Jeff?
Yeah, this is the front, and then this is the back.
Yeah, that was so you have the same one I have. That's the front.
Yeah, it must be. Okay.
This is slowly becoming an Into the Outdoor video.
Yeah. Who knew?
Now I want to get all 6.
You're on the hunt.
I don't know. I wish there was a way you could tell with the paper bag still on it.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it so you had to buy it and take a chance. I don't see it anywhere on the paper.
Yeah. I know that I have these CDs, and it
Does it have all 6?
shows you all 6 covers.
To say which ones they are, like A, B, C, D, probably.
No, it just shows you.
This was the first CD release, which had the kind of the logo or title that was on the paper bag. And then this one that it's pretty much the same shot, but
Put the songs on the back, which is nice.
mhm. All right, well, thank you guys for another compelling video. Loved all your choices, and could have easily done a top 30 video, but so much love.
Gary, Josh,
Yeah, sorry we missing Gary and Josh tonight, but we wish them well. We're there in our thoughts and prayers. And we hope to see them next week. But great video, guys. Had a fun time. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. And let us know what your top 10 is in the comments section. And everybody have a great evening.
Bye.